Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Playbook. In today's video, we're going to talk about photography, specifically headshots, because on a website, it's fine to use stock photography in some places. But if you're using people for backgrounds or imagery on your site, make sure you get good photography that you use on the website instead of stock photos that you might see on a billboard or in a commercial or that everybody's using. So in this video, we're going to go over those things. We're going to talk about stock photography versus custom photography. We're going to talk about headshots and how to use photography well on your website. Welcome to our interview series today. I'm Nate from Web 801. I'm here with Lara. It's Lara Kinser, correct?
That's correct.
I'm here with Lara Kinser from Kinser Studios. Lara, tell us about yourself.
I am a corporate photographer. I've been doing it in business since 2008, so quite a while. I always had a camera in my hand before that, and I knew that I wanted to work with professionals. So I do a lot of headshots, I do a lot of branding, some corporate stuff in office and that kind of stuff. So that's really my sweet spot. And I love to help businesses have awesome imagery where they are proud to show their website. They're proud to show their LinkedIn. They're proud to just put themselves out there.
And how did you get into photography? You said you always had a camera in your hand. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of the age-old story for a lot of photographers, but I was that kid in, elementary school I would save my money so that I could go up to the Rite Aid and get my film developed and buy another roll. I'd have to walk up there all by myself and get it done. And then I'd bring back and with a new roll and keep going. And I ended up to my dad's dismay, I would get all the prints and I covered my entire wall. So it looked like wallpaper, but it was photos of all my friends, of all the activities we were doing, just lots of fun, different things. But it was hilarious that my dad still to this day will say, "You taped that wall." I had to scrape off all the tape.
Well, it's turned into something great. So look at that.
Yeah. Yep. It really has. I've had a really awesome career. I have the best clients. I love who I work with. And it's just fun. I get to do something a little different every day, but still in this little box that I like to stick in.
And you mentioned corporate. Tell us about the type of clients you work with typically.
Yeah, so a lot of businesses, anywhere from solopreneurs all the way up to even big businesses. I work with a lot of local people in Utah. I work with Oracle and some other big companies that a lot of people would know, and anywhere in between. And it's just such a fun ride. And some of the ones I love best are some of the smaller businesses, like, I don't know, roughly 20 to 50 people, where they're just really starting to grow and get bigger and have to put out a brand message that's cohesive throughout the whole company versus, a solopreneur can kind of go this way and that way a little and still stay in, but they don't have to have other people below them follow that vision because it's just them. But once you have to get that kind of structure where, these are our, brand outlines, then I love that sweet spot where they're just starting to grow.
Why do you think high quality photography is an important part of a business's success?
One of the biggest things is the first thing they see, whether it's on social media or their website. Their clients, your clients, whoever that's one of the first things they see. They see your headshot on LinkedIn. If it's not a approachable, great photo of you, they might get the wrong impression. You might, not appeal to them. If you go on a website, you might not jive with the client there. So having some of this imagery that looks like you and your company makes a big difference of that first impression, and it brings it all the way through so that they feel like it's like kind of truth in advertising. Basically, this is what you're going to get. So if you really don't want to use too much stock photography, you really want to show your personality, your meaning the business as a whole, and show what your people do and why you are different. That's actually probably the biggest thing, is showing why you're different and why they should pick you.
Yeah, and you mentioned a word there that I want to talk on more: stock photography. Let's talk about stock photography, because we all know there's pictures out there. You can get royalty-free images. Why is it important, especially for faces, for people, to have not stock photography on a business website?
Yeah, and I'll say this: there's a time and place for stock, but mostly it's going to be in the background. Maybe an office, maybe something in the background where it's not like the forefront. But the biggest thing, like with faces, is you want the same faces and the same feel on your website as when people walk in your door. So you don't want to have a dark and moody couple of shots on your website when your space is light and bright and airy and you guys are fun and friendly. It just doesn't coincide where it just makes people almost lose a little trust, but it's probably not psychosomatic, but I don't know. It's just like subconscious. That's the word I was looking for. It's in your subconscious that something's not right here. These don't go together. So having really um, great photos of your team and that on your website just pushes that all the way through that they know who they're going to get.
You mentioned different types of photography you do, like headshots, team shots. What are the different types of photography a business should expect?
Yeah, and there's different places, and it's partially in what area they're growing in. Headshots are a great one because if you can get a great expression out of someone, which is probably the most important part, they're going to bond with the picture already. We call it camera invisibility, where if someone doesn't look like they're in front of a camera, they're just connecting with you, so it's eye to eye, and it can happen even in a picture. Then there's some of the group pictures and things like that that just show everyone working together, and then even off like just action shots where people are maybe not looking at the camera but they're working on a project together. It just kind of gives the feel so people get the feel of how it is to work with that company.
Mhm. And for an entrepreneur or business owner, what are some of the biggest mistakes that they make with photography?
Yeah. The biggest one, and probably my pet peeve, is not even the selfie. You'd think it would be, but it's usually I got family pictures or we were at a wedding and I looked nice, so I took a picture, which is great. But usually they have someone else that's cut out of the frame, so that's kind of like this, and you can tell like maybe the top of the beer bottles in the picture, and it's a great photo of them, but not for business. You really need to show confidence and approachability in a photo. And honestly, it's not the photography that's really in charge of that. Your photographer really needs to help you get out of your shell and kind of get rid of the camera scaries. Everyone hates having the picture taken. I get that. But if you can get them out of their shell and forget that there's a camera there and just I joke and I tell dumb jokes. But they're quick and easy and fun and gets people like smiling and happy and they start to look like themselves again versus a deer in the headlights, like, oh, I'm getting my picture taken. Because I promise you, it doesn't matter what you look like. People see a lot of my pictures and go, oh, well, they're a model or they're this or whatever. And I'm like, no, I photograph regular people every day and I make them look their best. So it's not about having to be the prettiest person. It's not about having to um, change who you are or be skinnier or gaining weight or whatever wherever you are. Be you and get your emotion out. And really, it's up to the photographer to do that.
Thank you. Because then I have hope. I mean, I don't have hair, so you can put some of that on for me.
Yeah.
No.
No, you need to look like you.
Oh, I know. I
My
want to
my
own that.
Yeah, my theme is I want you to look like yourself on your best day. You've had a week of sleep, you've drank all the water you were supposed to, you've got a nice glow, but I don't want you to look fake. I don't want you to look photoshopped. None of that. I want you to look like yourself on your best day.
Thank you. So, if you were giving a business like maybe the top three tips to prepare for a photo shoot, especially a photo shoot that they're going to put on their website or social media or all that, what are some of the top three tips you would give a business to prepare for?
One of the top things I would have them think about is, are they growing? Hopefully they are. Most businesses want to, but in terms of people. So one of my claims to fame is that I can photograph different team members at different times and have them match. So the whole company doesn't have to get a whole set of headshots done. Again, when you add a new person, someone leaves, that kind of thing. So if you're not growing, then you could try a different photographer. But if you know that you're growing and you don't want to have to have the payments of doing the whole team again, it's a very cost effective way to have new hires come in and have them be matched, which is super helpful to a lot of companies. So that's one of the things I would think about. Location is a huge one. You know, like, are you in a temporary space? Do you have an office that's aesthetically pleasing? And honestly, most offices can be. So it just takes a different eye to make sure that you're looking at the right direction. Are you Where do you need these images to go? Uh, Something that a lot of people don't think about is that on a website, um, there's not a ton of places where you put vertical pictures. Sometimes there are, but a lot of stuff is going to be long and skinny because I mean, like, you're the web guy, you know, above the fold. It's usually a banner that's long and skinny. So make sure your photographer knows that this is probably going to be a header on our website. So we need something kind of long and skinny, so we're not cutting off at weird places. So it looks right on the website. Maybe you go some of those things. And honestly, it helps to have the web designer involved. If you're doing a new website, like you and I have worked together before, and we talked about how we're doing it and what the background needs to look like, and maybe what sizing things need to be, whether it's just the actual sizing for the web designer, or even just the shape. So like, okay, we need to fit something here, we need to fit something here. Those are all the things I would start to think about when I was hiring a photographer.
Yeah, you just read my mind because as you're talking, I'm thinking, as a web agency, how can I best help a professional photographer like you get prepared? And you answered it already.
Yeah.
Having some type of schedule or layouts of the different types of pictures we want. It sounds like that can be helpful.
Oh, for sure. I often, when people come to me and say, we're building a new website, my first thing is, do you have a wireframe? Do you have some stuff that you can send me? So that even honestly, that I can think about colors and things like that. So like most of my shoots beforehand, we talk about what colors the team should wear. And there's some colors that are better or worse on camera. But if you have I like to have complementary colors in the pictures and things that complement each other. So, we go, if your website logo is blue, maybe we have most people in black and white or something, and then a pop of blue, or just different. Say we're doing a conference room shoot where everyone's around the table. We think about those same things, like what colors do we need to add? What can we make this cohesive that goes with the website, rather than mashing two things together that maybe weren't intentional. So maybe we can make that intentional and have just the whole flow. Like, wow, this website just feels good, and I don't know why, but it does.
Yeah, what's so cool about that? I was going to ask you a question about brand and identity, and you kind of, for those listening and watching, Lara just explained brand identity in a roundabout way, like the color scheme, the way that what we wear, the picture, like getting prepared for that picture, having the photographer give us direction, so that we maintain a good identity and brand across all spaces, our website, social media, all the different avatars we're using all over the place.
For sure, because if you don't have that conversation, you're going to have people in muted colors, or I like, my favorite is jewel tones. I tell everyone to wear jewel tones. But if you don't have that conversation with the people being photographed or the web designer or something, somehow you're going to end up with everyone going together and someone in neon, or someone in some weird color that doesn't match. And it doesn't have to be matchy matchy, but everyone just needs to go together so it feels cohesive.
Thank you so much, and I hope that's helpful for me for sure. And
Yeah.
which leads to my next question: how can a web agency like Web 801 best collaborate with you? Like, how can I help my clients be prepared for your services?
I think it comes down to talking to them about the importance of having the cohesive brand identity. So just because that kind of prepares them that it might cost a little bit more. Like, I'm not particularly cheap. I don't plan to be. And that's fine. But it also is whatever the return on investment is. It's a big deal that, yes, you might have to shell out a little bit for some photography, but you use it on your website, you use it on your LinkedIn. And if it's going to get you more clients that are your clients, that's the biggest thing. Is like, some of this stuff, it's back to the kind of psychosmetic stuff. It's the way they feel is really what your brand is. And photos do that. Photos tell a thousand words. And so if you can talk to them and say, this is why this is important, um, then it goes a long way to get them the right things.
Yeah, as you're talking about that, reminds me that these photos are assets. They're not
Yeah.
just costs, they're an asset. Where are some of the places besides a website? I mean, that's my most obvious one, but
Yeah.
where are other places people can use this professional photography to get the best
Oh
return
yeah.
on their investment?
Oh, for sure. Annual reports, your Google My Business, obviously social media is a big one. And you can use different parts of even different photos for that. Tell different stories. But all those different places where a lot of people use them for quotes. Like if they're sending out a quote, they might have their headshot on it, or they may have a group photo so that it just gives the person who's requesting the quote a little bit more of an idea into these people versus just words on a page that it's just kind of like simple and here's whatever will cost you. If you can make any connection with people, that's gonna up level your business.
Yeah, that's awesome because I thought, oh yeah, business cards, brochures, slide decks, like
Yeah,
you can
all of that.
repurpose
Oh yeah,
this,
slide
like
decks.
even video, like the
Yep.
photography can be interspersed within the video, even on email signatures, using that headshot there, like just reusing that content all over the place to build the
Oh,
brand and the identity.
one of the best places and that I see the worst headshots is speakers. It drives me insane. I do event photography as well. And so I go to a lot of events and usually like high-end events with some really like speakers that everyone would know, and they have the worst headshot. And it's on a billboard or it's on the screens at the front of the conference center, and their terrible headshot is 10 feet high. I'm like, please don't do that anymore. Like just go get a decent headshot. And so there's been time if I have a headshot set up there, I'll grab them and say, come get a new headshot because it's a gift. Please just use something better. But because a lot of people are speaking, or even in smaller things like, are you teaching at a community college? Are you doing a webinar or something like that? Oh, and that's another one. We're on Zoom right now. If you need to walk away from Zoom, that's a great place to have a good headshot too.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, this has been awesome. I mean, I guess the last couple questions I have, what would you tell a business that's on the fence about getting professional photography?
I mean, it's up to them, but I guarantee it will boost your income if you have great photography on your website.
Yeah, that first impression pays off. It's like when you were talking earlier, it reminds me of the gift that keeps on giving. You just keep using it, it just keeps on giving. So that's great.
And a lot of times you can use them for years. There's some photographers who are going, you need a new headshot every year. I don't even think I do my own headshot every year. So unless big changes or something happens, you can use these photos for years on your website, all those different places that we talked about. And then when something changes, you go from blonde to brown. You lose 50 pounds, you gain 50 pounds, you lose some hair, you gain some hair. Maybe it's time for an update. But other than that, unless you have big changes, you can use them for a long time and in a lot of different places.
Yeah, well, this has been so helpful, Lara. Thank you so much for your time today. How can people find you for those that are watching and listening?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. First of all, this has been awesome. Um, you can find me at kinserstudios.com. Everything is there. I have contact forms, my email's on there, my phone number. Feel free to get a hold of me any way you like.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Visitors, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up today. Go show support for Lara and her team. We've worked with her. She does amazing work, very high-end professional photography, not your selfie from an iPhone. This is good stuff.
Yeah,
Great lighting, all that's
yeah, not
important.
AI and
No
not
AI
AI.
either. Yeah. So
So
yeah,
my
so
biggest problem with AI, I was going to say, my biggest problem with AI is that you lose your soul in the picture. Like it might be a decent picture of you, but um the people who are looking at it won't connect with you. That's my biggest problem with AI.
yeah, that's great. I'll put that earlier because
I
that
kind of
is
thought that
good.
too.
That's like one of those problems that people I mean, I've seen that. They'll get a headshot that they think is good and they'll pop it in the eye to touch it up and it just looks fake, you know?
Yeah, it looks fake.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably earlier, but I was like, oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for being here, Lara. We really appreciate you. Visitors, if you like this, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, subscribe to our channel. And if you have questions for myself or Lara, make sure to leave them in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.